Well, Jamaica and the U.S. have agreed that there's a need for continued and strengthened partnership around crime control with threats from global gangs. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also committed to revisiting the travel advisories often issued to Americans, warning them against traveling to Jamaica due to crime. Jamaica has seen major reductions in crime over the last 2 years, to include declines in robberies, shootings and murders. But despite this change of fate, the U.S. continued to issue travel advisories warning Americans against visiting the island. On Wednesday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, having met with the Prime Minister and members of his cabinet, announced plans to revisit the advisories and have them reflect the improved picture of Jamaica's crime reality.
We were going to go back and reevaluate the travel advisories as they currently stand to ensure that they do reflect the reality of the new numbers and what the numbers show, because you've made very impressive progress in your general numbers overall when it comes to the murder rate and so forth. But in particular, with those travel advisories are designed to American travelers. And I think we need to analyze that and just ensure that the status we're currently in accurately reflects the status quo and takes into account the progress you've already made this year and made last year, year over year, which I think is one of the highest numbers in terms of reductions that we've seen of any country in the region.
Both countries accepted the need for concentrated efforts and resources to tackle the common threat of global gangs and crippling transnational crime.
We have to talk about security, and I think that the Prime Minister has phrased it in a way that I think is very beneficial, and that is, he used the term global war on gangs. Maybe we'll find some other phraseology in the United States to describe it, but we're talking about the same problem. It's amazing, if you look across the region and really many parts of the world, how many of the threats we face in the world now that once came from a ideological terrorist organization or from a nation state are now coming from non-governmental criminal organizations, who in some cases are more powerful than the governments in some of these countries. And we've confronted this issue. It's a challenge in Mexico. It's a challenge on the border between Venezuela and Colombia. It is the challenge in Haiti. And it's been a challenge here. And it's a multifaceted challenge.
To this end, Secretary Rubio announced more resources for several critical players and entities, including the security forces.